Welcome to Rant Therapy.
Because sometimes you just need to get it off your chest so you can move on with your life.
It's a podcast short powered by the co-hosts of the Happy Eating Podcast. Carolyn, you have a new roommate.
I do.
And I would really like for you to share with our listeners about your great affection for new roommate.
Yes, I did not invite my roommate to come live with me. He came home with my son from spring break from the beach. And I really thought I had passed this point in my life. But what Griffin came home with was a hermit crab.
Named Rufus.
After someone with a British accent on the beach that Griffin also met and was just enamored with the way he talked. And so that guy's name was Rufus. So Griffin proceeded to name his hermit crab Rufus. And, you know, I really thought this is something you do as a kid, like when you're in elementary school, you know?
Yeah, like my daughter asked for one for her 4th birthday.
Yeah. Griffin's a freshman in high school. We did not need to come home with Rufus.
I agree.
So first, Rufus comes home and he's in a Tupperware container, not with the lid on. It's got high sides, or what I think are high sides. And I see that Griffin has thrown in a large handful of broccoli to Rufus. And if you know, broccoli's like my favorite vegetable to roast. Like, I could eat roasted broccoli every night. And I'm like, do not give Rufus my broccoli. I don't know what hermit crabs eat, but I don't think it's broccoli. Or, you know.
And if it's produce, maybe let's give it something that's a little less near and dear to your heart.
Yes. So anyway, so I'm like, whatever, this thing will die pretty quick, I bet. Then you proceed to tell me, well, I hate to tell you this, but we had one live 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, great. So anyway, that was Saturday. Sunday night, I'm washing my face in my bathroom. Reached down to get like my moisturizer, and I scream because there is Rufus on my tray with all my beauty products.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. I scream.
So tell listeners what happened next after you screamed.
So Griffin says, "You found him."
He was so happy.
He was so happy.
How do you lose a hermit crab?
He was walking around with Rufus and evidently did something in my bathroom and forgot where he put Rufus down. I was like, no. So I thought that was bad. And then fast forward 2 days later, and I go in the kitchen. We've now moved Rufus to the kitchen. Now, Rufus is in a Tupperware.
He's still in his Tupperware.
Yeah, that has high sides, though. I'm like, there's no way that thing can get out. And I come in the kitchen one morning before school, and I see these flakes on one of the counter. And I'm like, what is that? Now, and that's not... It is very typical right now with a 15-year-old boy with the appetite they have. It is not unusual for him to go back in the kitchen after I go to bed, fix something additional to eat, and as a boy,
leave the mess.
Look,
even as girls, they leave the mess too.
Even if they try to clean it up, there's still a mess.
Yes.
So I see these flakes on the counter. I'm like, what is this? And so then I go over to the other counter, and I see... there's a jar of hermit crab food. So I'm like, so that's hermit crab food all over that counter, you know. And then I see, we've moved Rufus into the kitchen. Okay.
A lot happened while you were sleeping.
Yeah. So then I think Griffin has a paper towel over Rufus's Tupperware. So I peek into the Tupperware. Rufus appears to still be sleeping. I see him.
I think they're nocturnal. We're going to have to look that up.
And so then I'm washing my blueberries because I'm taking blueberries and yogurt to work that day, to eat later. And so my counter, let's say like I have counter space, then my oven, then counter space where my microwave and coffee maker sits, and then my refrigerator. So I'm over on the very first part of the counter. And I peek in. That's where Rufus is, or where I think Rufus is. And I see him there. And so I go about at the sink washing my blueberries. And then while I'm doing that, I hear something on that counter where the microwave and coffee maker sit. And it's a noise, and I think, oh my gosh, if I am losing it. If I didn't know better, I would think Rufus is crawling on my stuff over there. But I just saw him in his Tupperware.
Yeah.
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 And then I hear it again. And I'm like, God, I'm so glad I saw him in his thing. Or I would be freaked out that he was walking over there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this hermit crab is getting to me. Like, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
So then I finished with my blueberries, and I'm taking the container to put it back in the fridge. So I have to pass by that counter where the microwave and the coffee maker are. And I happen to glance, and I see Rufus on the side of my microwave. You know how the side of the microwave has like vents?
Yeah.
He is climbing up the vents. That was him. Mm-hmm. So I scream, like, Griffin, get in here.
Yeah.
So Griffin says, Mom, please don't yell around him. That stresses him out.
I think you need to be more concerned about my stress level, son.
Yeah.
My blood pressure just went through the roof.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I mean, hermit crab in your bathroom is very gross. But for some reason, this instance in my kitchen with the noises that I heard, this did me in. And so I was like, get your hermit crab. It took him a second to get Rufus off the microwave. Like he was locked in. And I was like, wait, how does this happen? I just saw Rufus in his Tupperware.
Uh-huh.
Rufus is not that fast.
Right. No.
Or I would have seen Rufus walk across the counter or across the oven to the other counter.
Yeah.
Well, evidently we got Rufus 2 outfits. His current shell and another shell.
Very normal.
And so when I peeked in, I saw the empty shell.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I still hadn't figured out how he got out. Now, then the next morning, and I don't know, maybe Griffin left him out. I don't know. Anyway, I was like, I'm done. No, cannot have this happen. The next morning, I woke up and I see him on the counter right back near where at the very back corner of the counter, like right where the oven starts. And I have a little gap that I need to get filled behind my oven. Oh. And I was like, buddy, if you made a couple more steps, you would go down in that black hole. And then all I can think about is the stench.
Yeah.
That would result from dead Rufus.
Yes.
Anyway, you gave us a cage with a top.
Yes, problem solved.
But still,
hermit crab that lived for 2 years, I kept its cage in the attic.
I don't even have words. I don't have time for this. I don't have patience for this. Yeah.
Well, I hope for your sake that Rufus does not live as long as our hermit crab lived.
Same.
That was a long 2 years. I actually had to find a babysitter for ours when I went on vacation a couple times. That was kind of weird, texting somebody, can you babysit my hermit crab? But anyway, hopefully Rufus will stay contained now that he's in a real cage with a top.
Yeah. I thought I was done with this, like around 5 or 6 years of age.
Yeah. No, apparently not at 15.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Wow. I'm so glad you got to share it with people. And please don't donate Rufus to another home because these stories need to keep coming.
I know. Everyone around me is liking the Rufus stories. And ask me every day what Rufus has been doing.
Oh, yeah. That's all we want to talk to you about now.
I know. So Rufus is kind of taking on a life of his own. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back on the pod.
Hopefully not.
The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed by the hosts of this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints of anyone anywhere else. This is meant for entertainment purposes only.